Good morning, darling. Moon River, have your coffee with me. Uh,
I'm crossing you in
uh,
style someday.
where did we leave off? We left off in Africa.
Heartbreak.
We left off in Africa, darling. And it was very interesting. I could talk and talk and talk just about that experience, but I won't. I'm going to skip over a lot of that. And I want to tell you, in the meantime, back in San Francisco at the Penthouse, Val Arnold, all you designers will know the name of Val Arnold. He was a friend of mine. I didn't know Michael Taylor then, that was a little later, was decorating the Penthouse so that when we would get home, we would walk into a ready-made place. I was living the life, darling, I was. I think the hardest part of doing this, and it has been difficult, I didn't expect it to be, but it was emotionally difficult to talk about my marriage to Al Wilsey. But I think that the important part is not just the breakup that was so cruel, but what it led me to. So I'll get to that. In the meantime, we're leaving Africa and we're flying to Italy. And as we flew over the Aswan Dam in Ethiopia, I started to sob. I was crying and crying, and Al said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I don't know, but I feel such sadness." I didn't know that in a few years I would be in Ethiopia in a famine camp, holding the hand of a dying child. I think that's so interesting that that energy somehow was there for me when we flew over the land. But good times were coming because when we got to Italy, I didn't feel well. So Al took me to a doctor and he tested me for pregnancy. And he left a message at our hotel because then it was a complicated process. And he left a message, "You are twice pregnant." Twice! And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have twins. But he meant that he had tested it twice. So anyway, I was really happy, but I was also very lethargic. And we went to Paris, and I just spent the time in this beautiful hotel, sleeping, and having oatmeal for breakfast. And Al was very, very happy. We had planned for me to get pregnant. And, I was 40, what was it, 41. And it didn't occur to me there would be a problem. I didn't know, that I was old to be getting pregnant, and I wasn't. So we get home after that long trip and finding out I was pregnant, and we walk into this beautiful living room at the Penthouse, the candles lit, fire in the fireplace. Val had outdone himself. He was a lovely man and a very talented designer. Perhaps not the caliber of Michael Taylor, but he was extremely good, and he was just a wonderful, sweet guy. So anyway, Sean was born, my son. It was like a year and a half after we were married. Here I am, a mom. I'd never been pregnant before. I was so thrilled. And Sean was just a delightful baby. And I was lucky. I recognize my luck to have a baby nurse, to have all the help I needed. My goodness, I admire those of you who have to do so much when your babies are born. And, I didn't have to do that. And I just got the fun stuff. Although, I took care of Sean and I changed his diapers and, we didn't have help around all the time. But it was great to not to have to get up, for night feedings and that kind of thing. But, oh, what a joy he was. I loved teaching him things. It was the greatest joy of my life. And Sean was very smart. And I taught him to read, before he was very old. And I had flashcards and I did all that stuff. He was just, well, anyway, you're a parent, And Al said, well, we shouldn't be having summers in the fog here in this penthouse, not with Sean. And I said, well, you're right. So we rented a house in Marin with a swimming pool, and I hired a woman to come and teach Sean to swim. I don't know how to swim. So this woman, Dee's Waterbugs, taught Sean to swim. And I didn't think he would ever forgive me for that. Although he learned to swim, but she was tough. I couldn't even watch. I was just horrified because not being able to swim myself, I didn't know what to do. But anyway, he learned to swim. But then we decided, I took Al and Sean to the Napa Valley. I had once attended a party in the Napa Valley at a chateau there. It was the Cebrian residence, Jose Cebrian. Some of you may remember him. He was a nice guy. And they had this beautiful place. And this was, before I met Al, I had gone there. And, it was just like so romantic. They had an enormous table out under a weeping willow tree. And they had silver place plates for each guest. This long, long table. And, oh my, I was in seventh heaven. And I thought, I didn't know people lived like this. It was just astonishing. And that became my dream. One of my many dreams. I have many, and I still have dreams. And we should never give up our dreams, darling. Ever, whatever our age. 85, you think I don't have dreams? Of course I do. And I hope that you do too, and that you act on them, that they come true, that you do your vision boards. Have faith, believe. So here we are. Al was not familiar with the Napa Valley. So I made a picnic, and we went to the Napa Valley, and we found this open field where we had a picnic. And there was a river running through it, the Napa River, and Sean was picking wildflowers, and just idyllic. And Al said, I didn't know this place was here, this Napa Valley. And I said, oh, it's so beautiful. It was before it was like it is today, a tourist attraction. But then it was just pastoral and so beautiful. So we bought that land where we had the picnic, and we built our dream home, our country place. We kept the place in the city, but we built our dream home. And during that time, Al said to me once when we were having dinner at the penthouse, he said, Patsy, what's rich to you? I said, I don't know. I've never thought about it. And he said, would $1 million be rich? I said, oh, yes. He said, well, we have more than that. And I go like, well, that's nice. I never questioned. I was brought up not to question these things, so I didn't. And that's wrong. We should all question. We should know exactly. It's our lives. We're making an investment ourselves. And I was too much a lady to ask questions about money. Never did until it was too late. But nevertheless, we had this beautiful house that I named well, we all named it. Sean chimed in too. River Meadow Farm. Oh, it was glorious. It was just glorious. And our friends Dee Dee and John Triena had a little Victorian up the street from us, and they came over a lot. And we had big parties in the summer. Like 200 people would come, and one was people would bring their special dishes, and we'd have a buffet, and it was amazing. You know, I was living out my fantasy life, but I didn't know that in that fantasy life was a black widow spider who wanted what I had. I didn't know that. I'm not that way, and so, you know, if you're not that kind of person, you don't expect other people to be. I thought everyone was just like I was. Well, you know, that's stupid. And not stupid, it's naive, because I'm not a stupid woman. But I was reared at a different time in a different way. And so on we go. And the next installment, darling, I'll get to the Black Widow spider. Bye! Have a good day, darling.